Alright, so, we're in the latter half of this case. I think it should only be 2 more segments. We might be able to finish it tonight. Again, if you're just joining, this is quite far into the second investigations game. So if you have not played this, and you do care about spoilers, you might want to tune out. But also, very much appreciate it if you stay. Thank you. April 6th, Detention Center, holding cell. Never thought I'd spend another night in here again. And they stripped me of all the evidence we'd so painstakingly gathered. Even if they did let me keep Kei's Yatagarasu pin. Can't help but worry about her. They better be treating her well. The fuck did you miss yesterday when you fell asleep? I don't know, when did you fall asleep? All hell broke loose, yeah. So, Kei has amnesia. Person named Rosie Ringer is dead on the counter of the Prosecutorial Excellence Committee desk. People believe that she did it. She's convinced that she did it. We found a black market going on in the hidden 51st floor. And, yeah, that's kind of where we are right now. Last I remember is Kei being found. Oh, Kei being found in the garden. Yeah, you missed quite a bit. It was me, Barry. I'm the murderer. Come on, let's go. You got a visitor. A visitor? Who? Someone by the name of Dick Gumshoe. Want me to send him away? No, though I'm not sure what to even say to him. April 6th, Detention Center. Visitors' room. Wait there. They're leaving me unsupervised. Forgive the intrusion. Spoilers, it was not Gumshoe. Judge Gavel. Please, Mr. Edgeworth. Take a seat. What are you doing here? I was told it was Detective Gumshoe. I imagine you wouldn't come if you knew it was me. What could she possibly want from me now? Suppose I better find out. You little shit. God. You may not be aware of this, but you were only permitted to meet with specially approved visitors. What do I even have on hand? Oh, just Kei's Yatagarasu pin. Wait, did Edgeworth say they took that, or... Even if they did let me keep Kei's Yatagarasu pin. Okay. So I'm to be treated like a dangerous criminal, am I? Suppose my reputation is rather plummeted. We got one weapon to get out of here. Break the glass with a pin. It has indeed. For you, of course, and your friends. That attorney and the other girl were raising quite the fuss earlier. Fender and Emma. Ender and Femma. I saw them launch extremely heated words at one of the guards. No, you didn't! You may thank the goddess in that regard, for even she is too busy to deal with each and every infraction. They will not be punished for their bad behavior. Instead, I'm just gonna punish you like 10 times worse. Did you come here just to chit-chat with me? You must have had a lot of time on your hands. Oh, speaking of which, Miss Von Karma's continuing the investigation where you left off. I just thought you'd like to know. I figured you'd be worried about how they were all doing. Hate to admit it, but she read me like a book. The more you learn, the more you're learning about Gavel, the more you don't like her. Don't worry, just keep watching. Miss Faraday is currently being interrogated about her involvement in the murder. You and the committee, you know what you're doing, don't you? You know that the wrongful arrest and persecution of an innocent person is beyond reprehensible. That's quite the slanderous remark. I would ask that you frame your outbursts with a little more care. Besides, she is not innocent. You merely wish that she is. You can't say that. You don't have conclusive proof. Nor do you have conclusive proof to the contrary. Let's not retread this tired old topic again. Sorry. Sorry about that. She will go to trial and the goddess will pass her judgment. There is nothing you can do to stop that. And there is nothing more to say on the subject. Instead, let us speak of the matter at hand. Let's cut to the chase, Your Honor. Why are you really here? I'm here simply to talk, nothing more. There's something I wish to know about you. Me? Yes, who else? Objectively speaking, you are highly intelligent and quick-witted. And a born prosecutor at that. Please, Judge Gavelle, your sarcastic praise is but salt on my wounds. But I sincerely mean every word, Mr. Edgeworth, and it is why I failed to understand you. Take this latest case, for example. You were up against the very committee itself. You had no hope of succeeding. Even a child could have seen that. And yet... I don't imagine the old me would have ever been so reckless. The old me had power, and because of that, I always thought that justice was always on my side. Her chest so fat that her attitude is rancid. God, Soma. Just as you and the committee believe now. But a certain person changed my mind. He made me reckon with my selfish and skewed sense of justice. That man mentioned... That man. The man in blue mentioned... And once the scales had fallen from my eyes, I began to look at people differently. I saw that I was only able to be an effective prosecutor thanks to the efforts of those around me. Detective Gumshoe, the many investigative officers of the force, and even Kay. It changed me. The degree to which it changed me still surprises me to this day. I see. Thank you. I feel that perhaps I understand you a little better now. His boyfriend, yep. You understand me. I highly doubt that. Someone who is so focused on forcing their idea of justice onto others can't possibly see what I see. Is that so? Is that what you truly believe? I'll say one thing. This has been a very interesting conversation. That is all. Before I go, there's one remaining matter. I was asked to inform you that the date of your hearing has been confirmed. It'll be held today, in the trial chamber. The committee sends its warmest regards. If that was all you had to tell me, you could have just sent a message. And entrust the goddess's words to another? That wouldn't do now, would it? Until then, Mr. Edgeworth, I'll see you again very shortly. April 6th, Detention Center, holding cell. Oh. I didn't know the game was giving me control over there. Over this. There's a menu here on the table. Seems detainees are able to pay to have their meals brought to their cells. What looks good? Spaghetti and mac and cheese lunch. Add linguine for only $1. Basmati and brown rice special. For a limited time, add regular white rice at no extra costs. Probably for the best I'm not very hungry right now. There's a note on the wall next to the toilet. Sorry, we're currently out of toilet paper. Please make the necessary mental preparations before using the toilet. What sorts of mental preparations can one even make? Get the curry, Edgeworth, yeah. It's making me want curry now, god damn it. The window is barred with heavy steel. That reminds me of a movie I once saw. A prison inmate hatched a plot to escape by using a file to cut his cell bars. Won't be doing that, of course. For one thing, I don't have a file with me at the moment. Wait, what am I saying? I wouldn't do that even if I had one. Very basic bed. Can't say it was very comfortable to sleep on, however. Imagine Detective Gumshoe would sleep soundly on it, nevertheless. Loudly snowing all the while. Suppose we'll never get to work together again, though. But I don't have any regrets about the bed I've made. I will follow my own path to the end. I've barely spent any time in here, and I can already feel my personal appearance slipping. I may have given up my badge, but I mustn't give up on myself. My collar. It's slightly creased. There. Tidy outside begets a tidy inside. Which is why it's more important now than ever to take care of myself. There's a poster on the corridor outside. We regret to announce that due to the warden's arrest, the Die of Destiny game will be discontinued. Inmates will no longer need to roll a die every morning to determine their meals for the day. We wholeheartedly apologize to those who are looking forward to their daily casting of the die. Did anyone need an apology for a cessation of such a ridiculous idea in the first place? He does care about Gumshoe. Yeah, of course he does. He's like Franziska. Like, it's like he chastises Franziska for not being able to say she's worried about someone, yet he acts the exact same way. Likely, again, because they were brought up by the same asshole. Do I have another visitor? Kay! Oh, thank goodness you seem alright. That's a load off my mind, too. Ah, such a heartwarming scene. It's enough to make a grown man cry. I don't have a voice for this. Like, I keep flip-flopping on which way I'm going with them. But you're still not your usual cheery... I mean, you have to stay positive, Kay. You didn't do anything wrong. In fact, I guarantee you didn't. No, you have to let it go. I'm the murderer. I know that now. But you're not. You can't be. Why don't you have any faith in yourself? How can I, Mr. Edgeworth? When there's no me left to believe in. None at all? I don't think that's true. Before you lost your memory, we spent quite a bit of time together. And I dare say you left quite the impression on me. So you see, there's still plenty of you left. Oof. How dare they put her in bandages? I'll kill him. To be fair, she didn't really need them. That person at the hospital just did that to her to be safe. Like, look at her finger. Look at the wrapping around her finger. It's so much bigger than her pointer finger. Sorry, I need to drink some of this Dr. Pepper before it gets cold. Oh, it's so good. That's why I believe in so much in your innocence, and why you should believe in yourself, too. Thank you. But I can't. It would just cause more pain for the both of us. Are you drinking warm Dr. Pepper? No, I'm not drinking warm Dr. Pepper. I'm drinking hot Dr. Pepper. I heated it up in a pot, poured it over some lemon, and I'm enjoying a nice warm treat. Do I have to go over this every night because someone doesn't know what hot Dr. Pepper is? I know, it's outrageous. I bring it up every night, but I've been drinking it a lot lately because it's just really good. Boiling... Michael is insane. We've been through this. Yes, exactly. Boiling... Okay, I want to put this out there. Dr. Pepper is a very common ingredient in food. In certain foods. Because boiling it, like separates the syrup. And it can be used in cooking. But also on its own, it's just really good. Please, you have to forget her. Forget that, Kay. She's gone. Where, fucking Mars? No. When I was in high school, I made a cake in cooking class once with Dr. Pepper. Kay, no. You remind me of my younger self, you know? So noble, so bold. This is justice you and the committee stand for? It's got water on your shoes. Justice? I suppose you could call it that. What is he up to? Why is he going to such lengths to control everything? I can't shake the feeling that something is very wrong here. There's some hidden agenda at play. Hey, V2, Hot Dr. Pepper sounds intriguing. It's good. I'd recommend trying it once, at least. Fancy school to have cooking classes. Not really. It was like a home ec class in high school. This is no time to second-guess myself. I'm going to find out what it is. It's now or never. Well then, my boy, I suppose I should. Wait. Wow. He like tore open a hole in space-time with that one. Why is the chairman so intent on seeing Kate charged with this murder? Doesn't make any sense. There must be some rhyme or reason to this madness. Come now, Miles. I'm a busy, important man. I can't be wasting my precious time talking to you. The only way out of our current predicament is through Chairman Winner. There's so much to ask in so little time. Let's start by trying to find out why he rushed to have Kay arrested so quickly. Can't just let this happen. I'm getting answers if it's the last thing I do. Mind chess! Commence! Sorry, Michael, you're old. They were long gone when I was in high school. Shit, man, really? Why were you so keen to push through Kay's arrest? I've yet to hear a satisfactory explanation. An explanation? I'm not entirely sure what you mean. Don't give me that. You know exactly what I mean. Tut-tut. I advise you to moderate your tone, dear boy. Need I remind you of your position? I've got you now. You're backed into a corner. You don't even know it. A weird thing to say to someone who's literally just started talking to. What are you going on about all your lonesome over there? You need to cut an old man like me some slack. I can't keep up with all that youthful energy. Curses, I should have picked my words more wisely. Had home ec classes, and you're only 32. I'm 37. I'm gonna be 38 in June. Can't just let this happen. I'm getting answers if it's the last thing I do. Okay, I don't know which way to go with this, so... And suppose we did let your friend go free. What then, hmm? What do you mean, what then? Think how that would look, my boy. And you would have to take the blame. Me, that's who. You're right to keep your mouth shut. That way you won't say anything foolish. Sorry, but I can't stay silent forever. Now Kay's innocence is still in doubt. Ah, you're breaking my heart. Just look at this flood of tears spilling out. Please, just leave it alone, will ya? Things were coming along nicely until you interfered. Coming along nicely? That's a pretty strange way of putting it. It's almost as if you wanted Kay's arrest to happen. Certainly doesn't sound like the statement of an impartial representative of the law. He is unperturbed by that. Hmm? You think so? Well, that wasn't my intention. Has it occurred to you that you might just be overthinking things a little? Chairman Winter certainly knows how to dodge a question, but it doesn't change the fact that but it doesn't change the fact that serious doubts remain concerning Kay's arrest. Next, we'll need to press him on whether he really believes the investigation was sufficient. Can't allow any of his statements to go unexamined, no matter how trivial they may seem. One of them may just give us the breakthrough we need. How much time did you spend investigating? Were you the one calling the shots? Kay is innocent. I don't feel like that's the right choice. How much time was spent on your investigation altogether? Well, you know, let's see. I'm not sure I can remember. And I'm sure you can. You won't bluster your way out of this one. It's not bluster, my boy. I honestly don't recall. It's a problem when you get to my age, you see. Why, I even forget my own son's name sometimes. Never mind your fool of a son. Answer me. How long did you spend on the investigation? You're right, of course. The boy's a fool. I never meant for him to grow up like that, but... Oh, woe is me. He's only too happy to derail the conversation no matter where I take it. I have to force him to take this seriously. Let's try another tack for now. You can hardly say your investigation was sufficient. And you're the one who called all the shots, weren't you? Including the decision to have Kay arrested. I'm afraid I'm nowhere near as influential as you'd think, my dear boy. You're the chairman of the committee. It doesn't get much more influential than that. Not that I care about such things. You wound me. It's enough to drive an old man to tears. You'll have to forgive me. I'm not the deferential type. Deferential? Also, let me take care of this real quick. You're gonna see my PNG tuber change for a second. There we go. Well, if you're going to insist on being so blunt. Going way too young with that. And I'm afraid you won't be seeing your prosecutor's badge again anytime soon. I don't need that badge anyway. I can't live without that badge. Let me make something clear once and for all. That badge isn't the be-all end-all for me. Far from it. I'm not concerned with titles or roles. Even you must understand that much. Get rotated, idiot. So young. So very young. Word of advice, Miles, from somebody who's been around the block. You're hopelessly naive, my boy. Idiotically so. And I know something about raising idiots. Well, that certainly got under his skin. He might be less guarded in his answers while he's in this state. Now's my chance. My, you really don't give up, do you? But even my patience has its limits, you know. What a coincidence. So does mine. Now answer the question. Do you believe that your investigation was sufficient or not? Ah, the youth these days are wont to be reckless. Makes me want to put you in your place. You're going to regret that, my boy. Well, maybe you do know your place after all. What's the matter? Scared? Hardly. I was just thinking about how to best proceed. Getting answers from the elderly requires sensitivity. They can get quite emotional, after all. You have no common sense whatsoever, do you? Don't you understand? Your fate rests in my hands. Just called you old, buddy. Nope, that was the wrong answer. Yeah, I gotta admit, I've talked to some people who are like, I really don't like this mechanic. But at the same time, like, yeah, I get it. It's got its problems here. Like, it's kind of a guessing game half the time. But I do like Edgeworth just having, like, his own little gimmick to go with everyone else. It also cuts down the amount of cross-examinations in this game, which there were way too many of in the first Edgeworth game. Let's say you do manage to get some answers from me. There's nothing you could do with them, so why not give up, dear boy? No. And why not? It's simple, because I'm not about to let the truth escape me. Interesting. I think I'm beginning to see what makes you tick. But what you're doing is pointless. Tragically and miserably pointless. Please just give up. She's guilty. The decision's been made. Once again, your choice of words intrigues me. It's almost as if Kay's guilt had already been determined from before her arrest. Oof. What are you trying to imply? I'm implying that things haven't gone as they normally should. In fact, everything has proceeded as if Kay's arrest was the end goal right from the very start. Well, Chairman Winner, was it? That's certainly an intriguing theory. But it's also a complete work of fiction, and I'm afraid I don't have time for such flights of fancy. Think it's time we brought this shabby little farce to an end, don't you? No, he's trying to make his escape. Let's confirm the legality of Kay's arrest before he slips away. It's faint, but the truth is finally beginning to emerge. I'm not about to let this opportunity pass me by. The dead-eye stared. Sheesh. Hey, Robo Bunny, yeah. Wait, we're not done yet. I'm tired of all this talking, so make it brief, will you? Based on everything we've heard from you so far, it's clear that Kay's arrest is entirely unfounded. Yes, I think we're all familiar with this particular refrain from yours by now. I'm afraid it doesn't matter either way. You don't have what it takes to secure her release anyhow. How dare you take this so lightly as a man of the law? My, aren't you a rude little boy? But my fuse is only so long. Oh, you have no idea how rude I can be? Obviously the wrong answer. Hey, Kakor, you played the fan translation, you loved it? Me too. I played it back when it first came out, the fan translation. And I did indeed love it. This official one's pretty good too. It's been delivering so far. Aside from all the typos, because there's a lot of them. Honestly speaking, I don't have the time to waste on every last question you could dream up. I have certain responsibilities to attend to, you know? I really am quite the busy man. Or are you just pretending to be busy, That's an awful thing to say to a fragile old man. I work harder than I should at my age. Hey, yeah. I ask you, my boy, what could I even hope to accomplish by putting up with such a pretense? 1 second. There we go. Hey, GL Wuffy, thank you for the raid. Hello. How you doing tonight? Give you a shout out. I really should appoint some mods so other people can do this for me, or set up Nightbot to have the proper one. How you doing tonight? What are you streaming? Hope you're having a wonderful and fun stream. I am. Thank you. I'm just playing some Ace Attorney Investigations too. Hello, Raiders. I am Michael Macaw. I'm a variety PNG tuber. And if you do not want spoilers for Ace Attorney Investigations 2, I totally understand if you need to tune out now. Mainly art and did some programming as well. Oh, cool. Can't say I know much about either, but I do occasionally put my pencil to the paper. I'm trying to be better, but not a long way to go. I'm a beginner at art. But anyway, thank you so much. Thank you for the raid. You're hoping to avoid talking about the case. You're trying to make me feel sorry. The first one. You obviously don't want to talk about this case anymore. That's why you're so keen to get out of this conversation, isn't it? It's just so tragic. It really is. That you would suspect me of such things. There's always a way to have it automatically shout out for you, but that causes for another program. Yeah, it's Nightbot, I think, right? I just don't have it set up properly. It's not a suspicion, it's a certainty. There were no clear grounds on which to base Kay's arrest for a start. Now, my boy, let's not get carried away. There's plenty of evidence to support our cause. The mask, the letter, the corsage, they were all in her possession. And of course, her confession. More than enough to prove her guilt, I'd say. But those are... Use Sammy, it has a lot of great customizations, do a ton of things. I'll look into that, because I have been upgrading my stream lately, so having more options to interact would be good. But thank you. I'll keep that in mind. Hex, can I, Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful stream. Thank you! I hope your stream went... I'm glad your stream went great as well. Thank you. If you need to rest and do after-stream care, then by all means, thank you. Shifted in my chair and now my sock feels weird. What's the matter? Struggling to come up with a new way to explain everything away? I've got you... Oh, god damn it. Oh no, I forgot what options I picked. Okay, get rotated. Bide. Avoid talking about the case. Get rotated. Damn it. Okay. This is the first time we've heard the second version of this theme, like the Rush version. Which is weird because I think there's only like one or two more of these mind chess segments left in the game. Well, there we have it. Your silence speaks volumes. It's true I can't counter your argument right now, but you did let something valuable slip. A suspiciously detailed knowledge of the evidence against Kay. He rattled off that list like he knew it inside out. I think that might prove to be a valuable clue. Kay's innocent. No, my boy, that's just clumsy. Anyone can blurt out a baseless assertion like that, even a disgraced superstar prosecutor. What? It's no good. I don't have enough information to take this any further just yet. But my chance will come. Just have to be ready when it does. Who gave you the order? Who decided that Kay should be arrested? You know, can't seem to remember. Don't ever get old, Miles, my boy. Wreaks havoc on the memory. Time to deploy my clue. I'd appreciate if you'd stop playing the old man card. You remember the details of the evidence against Kay pretty clearly. Perhaps if your memory didn't fail you only when it was convenient, I'd be more inclined to believe you. So let me ask you again, who gave the order for Kay's arrest? You're a sharp one, I'll give you that. My son could learn a thing or two from you. He wasn't such an incurable numbskull, that is. The tragedy, really. Oh. I don't want to hear about your son. I want to know who authorized the arrest. You're very mean. You know that, don't you? The arrest, you say? I believe the order was given by... Come now, Chairman Winner. We both know it was you. Redbow Rose, thank you so much for the raid. Oh my god, we're blowing up tonight, literally. Sorry to immediately alienate people by doing that. Thank you, shout out. You joined at like a very quiet point. What are you streaming? Divinity Original Sin 2? Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Welcome, Raiders. I'm Michael Macaw, variety PNG tuber. Variety streamer slash PNG tuber. Slash voice actor slash amateur artist. Slash hot Dr. Pepper enjoyer. Hello, hello. Alright, you got me. You make it sound like it was somehow a bad thing, though. But I have a reputation to uphold, so I guess I better clear up this little misunderstanding. I'll entertain your questions for a few more minutes. Let's see if I can't put your minds at ease. Insane person, shut up. The key thing to do now is to establish how intimately he knows the details of the case. I just have to ask the right questions. Pretty much my longest ever. The end game is at hand. We're but a few moves away from the truth. Excelsior's just like, what the fuck are you talking about? The suspect, Kay Faraday. How much do you know about her exactly? I know that she's the suspect. Aside from that, not much else. Cross my heart, but it's true. I don't have a clue as to how to proceed with this line of questioning. Better try another tack for now. Seem to know an awful lot about the case. I know about lots of things, my boy. I'm just smart like that. Too bad the same can't be said about the way you handled Kay's arrest. Well, fuck you. Fuck. Whoosh. I'm gonna redo the entire segment you read. I'm a very busy man. Do try to remember that, and that I could bring this little chat to an end whenever I so choose. It's only taking so long because you won't give me a straight answer to any of my questions. If only you'd stop giving me the runaround, we'd be done already. So let's try this again. You seem to know the details of the case quite intimately. Why is that? Because I read the case file. Not exactly the most thrilling use of my time, of course, but it's part of the job. I have to be a good role model. Can't be seen to be slacking. It can be so hard. But I had some time on my hands, so I read the whole thing from cover to cover. That's strange. I could have sworn you just told me you're a very busy man. Speen! I'd say the cracks are finally starting to show, wouldn't you? If you're so keen on being an upstanding leader, you could start by releasing K, you know. K-U-No. N-O. K-U-N-O. Kuno. Articuno. I don't know what I'm doing. You really don't give up, do you? It's a moving sight indeed, my boy. Whoosh. But a tragic one, too. After all, your efforts are for naught. Can you stop doing that? I'm afraid your little friend was found unconscious at the scene of the crime. We've yet to hear much about the circumstances under which Kay was found. She was lying unconscious in the storeroom, correct? That's right, although I'm not at liberty to tell you how I know that. He knows things we didn't. In fact, he seems to be aware of every tiny detail about this case. This could be a valuable clue. The suspect, Kay Faraday. How much do you know about her exactly? Oh. You know every other detail about this case. Sorry, but the more you tell me, the less sense that your story makes. For one thing, you know the details that even those investigating the scene were not aware of. Why is that? Just how much do you really know, Chairman Winner? What's happening? I'm rotating his pieces. Also, I made you a VIP in the channel. There's an intimidating face you like to make again. Well, two can play at this game. How do you like me now, huh? Oh, what happened to me? I got 3 raids, and it all went to my head. Literally. I do have to commend you on your doggedness. It really is something. I'll take that as a compliment. Take it however you like, but wrap this up, will you? I just don't have the stamina anymore. She's the culprit, the only possible suspect. Just accept that already. How much more evidence do you want us to load her down with, for goodness sake? Load her down with? Yet another interesting turn of phrase. One that makes it sound a lot like the items Kay was carrying might have been foisted upon her. Impressive. You really do pay attention, don't you? It's no wonder they used to call you a prodigy, Mr. Ex-Prosecutor. I think you know the answer to your own question by now. Why don't you just go ahead and say it? I want to hear it from you. It's finally time to shed light on the truth. All that's left is to play one last move. Kay is innocent. No, my boy, that's just clumsy. Oh. Yep, okay, no, that was the right one. Kay was framed. The true culprit set it all up so she would take the fall instead. That's my answer, and I won't let you deny it any longer. Uh-oh. My, you really are a sharp one, hmm? Bit of a shame you chose to hand in your badge. I admit it. You're right on all accounts. And that's checkmate. Mind chess. Checkmate. You made me a VIP, that's so sweet. It says you're watching without audio, so you can't hear me read your message. Also, why wouldn't I? I make one of my regulars here VIPs. You knew Kay wasn't the real murderer, and yet you still had her arrested. What's worse, you thought you could get away with it. Well, you won't. Not if I can help it. There you go with that naivete again, my boy. Guess that was always your problem. Click. With the girl arrested and the conviction secured, this whole mess goes away. And that's what will happen. But whose interest does a conclusion like that serve? Committee's, I suppose. And mine. You know, only for a few minutes, can very much hear you. It's just Twitch being silly. Oh, okay. You know, listening to you just now. Well, it really got the tears flowing, I have to say. It was poignant and heartfelt and sincere. And utterly infuriating. Whoosh. Look, I'm not perfect, I know that. But your lack of sophistication in these matters is beyond the pale. You insist that the truth is more important than anything else. But would you say the same if you knew what the real value of the truth was? What are you trying to say? When you get to my level, you don't uncover the truth. You make it, little by little. Kay Faraday, murderer. That's the truth. The truth that I created. Ugh. Yes, my boy, that's what I like to see. You're so sincere sometimes it's painful. Just makes me want to put you in your place. Knowing the real truth will get you nowhere. Because that's how much it's worth. Nothing. Shocking, I know. But why not go after the real killer? How much do you even know about what's really happened? You're still not getting it. That's your truth. And it's worthless. Mine is all that matters. You understand what I'm saying, don't you, Mr. Ex-Prosecutor? I have all the power here. That was a hard P. Curse you. Well, aren't you menacing? You and your little friend are just as bad as each other. Violent criminals who deserve to be locked up. You and your pride and your ego. You just had to blow it up. You'll pay for this. And with that, yet another person disappears from my life. Oh, it just makes me want to cry and cry and cry. Not planning to disappear just yet, Chairman Winner. There's still the hearing later today. Just you wait. One way or another, I'll prove Kay's innocence to the world then. Look at all these old fogies. April 6th, 8:30 a.m. Committee for Prosecutorial Excellence, Chamber. 10 members, over a majority, are present. I hereby call this hearing to order. We are gathered here today to assess the professional competency of Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth. Here in the sight of the goddess, we do solemnly swear to pass fair and frank judgment. Fair and frank? Don't make me laugh. How long until you're a regular meme overlord? If you have to ask, then you're not there yet. Don't worry. Verity, if you would be so kind as to summarize the case against Mr. Edgeworth. Selma's technically been here for years. She only just shows up like once every 6 months usually. Average. Really, it's more like she came here for a couple times a few years ago. No, it's okay. I'm not blaming you for that. We all had life going on. To be honest, there was a point where I thought I just thought we just drifted apart, and that's it's friends. Friends and such. It happens. But I'm glad that everything worked out, and that we're all our whole group is, together again, like it was back in 2021. It's weird to think how long ago that was, back during the Monster Hunter Rise days. That was 4 years ago. God damn. We were still in the vaccine not available part of the pandemic. I know. You and Mandy are really important to me, and I'm glad that you're both back in my life in a greater capacity than you were, from 2022 to 2024. On April 5th, despite having been advised that sorry, I just shoved a load of taffy in my mouth. On April 5th, despite having been advised of the illegality of an investigation he was conducting, the accused refused to desist and eventually had to be detained by myself and Chairman Winner. His actions compromised the investigation into the murder of a certain defense attorney. And despite having been presented with copious evidence of her guilt, he continues to insist that the suspect, 1K Faraday, is innocent of all charges. Perhaps you could explain the details of the murder to us as well. Of course, on the morning of the 5th, the body of the victim was found here in the committee chamber. Further explanation will be provided by me, Eustace Winner, Premier Prosecutor. The floor is yours, Mr. Winner. The murder itself happened late at night on the 4th. The victim was Miss Rosie Ringer. That same night, an illicit auction was being held here in this very room. Ringer took part in that auction, I think. Yeah. Look at that dude with the blue badger mask standing up. Meaning the murder took place sometime during the auction. When she was found, Ringer was dressed in an outfit that matched the description of the auctioneers. However, due to the fact that the auction carried on after the murder had occurred, I deduced that Ringer was not in fact the auctioneer. You deduced nothing of the sort. And what about the basis of which the suspect was detained, Mr. Winner? Yeah, I got this. So Faraday was overcome by crushing remorse, Eustace. Yeah, that. Tons of crushing remorse. So she confessed. So chill and sweet and so happy. I'm so happy to hang out with you again. Thank you. I'm happy to hang out with you too. According to her confession, she was on the roof of this building when she encountered a person in a red raincoat on the viewing platform. And that person was Miss Ringer, I take it? Precisely, Mr. Chairman. The killer dressed the victim in the auctioneer's outfit after the fact. But at the time when she was killed, Miss Ringer was wearing a red raincoat. Mweep. 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 I was watching the, is their name ZTG? The one who ran Ocarina at AGDQ this year. The no seed, or the no logic randomizer. And he did, they did the glitch where you pick up the Zora King Zora off his spot, and then you can just walk behind him. And who won the race to find that raincoat nearby? Me, that's who. Did you? I thought it was somebody from forensics. Strictly speaking, it was found by one of the forensic investigators under Mr. Winter's command. I knew it. The blood analysis on the coat showed that it was indeed Miss Ringer who had worn it, and that the suspect's confession was the final nail in the coffin. She confirmed having committed the murder. Murder. So as you can see, Kay Faraday was the killer. There's no way anybody else could have done it. Alright, Miles, I expect you have some objections. I expect you have some objections. Let's get them out of the way, shall we? I have no objections, Chairman Winter. Well now, is that so? Thought it would have taken more than a single night in detention to break you. There you go, you just had an objection. No objections in the matter of my unauthorized investigation, that is. But in the matter of Miss Faraday's supposed guilt, I have plenty.
Overruled.
Spit on the screen with that plenty right there. He's just even supposed to be here. Get him out of here. No. Look, he's the Nepo baby. He's here because Excelsius wants him here. I can personally attest to the fact that Mr. Winter's investigation was fair and impartial. Of course it was. When it comes to carefully conducted ops, I'm the winner every time. You know, Miles, it's within my power to offer you a plea deal of sorts. If, and this is purely hypothetical of course, you were to withdraw your objections, you might wake up tomorrow to find yourself the proud owner of a seat on this committee. Wow, blackmailing him by not only giving him his badge back, but promoting him to the head of to one of the heads of the prosecutorial office. So I ask you again, do you have any objections, Mr. Edgeworth? If you think you could buy my silence, think again. You will watch your mouth, only if the chairman watches his. I didn't come here to talk about committee seats. I came here to talk about the murder case. Not blackmail, bribery, yeah. I demand a statement under oath, and I won't rest until I have one. I want to know exactly what the committee's view on the incident is. You want to put us on trial, my boy? Very well, if it'll make you happy. Verity, please provide Mr. Edgeworth with the materials pertaining to the case. Really? But, sir... This'll be his last hurrah, so let's humor him with the send-off he desires. If you say so, Mr. Chairman. Evidence data received from Judge Gavel. You have no objections to Verity representing the committee, I assume? None whatsoever. Mr. Edgeworth... Don't worry, Kay. Everything will be fine, you'll see. The committee's view of the case. Miss Ringer attended the auction as a potential buyer. The red raincoat was one of the items up for sale, so our assumption is that after winning and paying for it, she left the auction with her purchase. The only exit from the storeroom was, of course, the hatch leading up onto the roof. Why would she want to buy a red raincoat used in a crime, when you could buy a red raincoat anywhere for much cheaper than that? The only way I'd go to an auction for an expensive coat is if it was like the Mother 2 Dragon coat. That only like 14 of exist in the world or whatever. That thing looks awesome. It's awesome as fuck. I don't know. Looks awesome. Overconfidence will be his downfall, yep. The only exit from the storeroom was, of course, the hatch leading up to the roof. After she had emerged onto the viewing platform, that's when Miss Ringer was attacked by Miss Faraday. Shortly thereafter, her flame went out, and thus concludes the committee's view of the case. The raincoat was on offer that night. Is that really true? We believe so, yes. It was on the mannequin, I bet. You remember the failed assassination attempt on the president of Zhang-Fi, I assume? The raincoat's a piece of evidence from that case. It should, of course, have remained safely under lock and key in the appropriate facility. But our inquiries revealed that it did in fact go missing under mysterious circumstances, and wound up in the auction along with everything else. That makes sense, I suppose. Wonderful work, Verity. Just wonderful. Crystal clear as ever. You flatter me, sir. Now, Mr. Edgeworth, perhaps you could save us all some time and simply admit defeat? I'll do no such thing, thank you very much. Very well. It's good to know that you still have some fight in you. It is? Why? Come to think of it, she said some strange things when she visited me this morning, too. What exactly is she up to, and why is my inner voice running out of breath? Did that freeze? God damn it! PNG Tuber Plus is really, really failing the last couple days, huh? Alright. Rebooting Macaw.exe here, hold on. Macawman.exe. In other words, a member of the committee was actively involved in the illegal evidence trade. It is unfortunate. I don't know what else to say. And of course, I'll be looking into any such activities just as soon as this hearing is over and done with. I commend your decision to pursue the matter further, Mr. Chairman. Are we back? Are we back? Are we so fucking back? Let me see here. Yep, we are. I commend, oh, don't be silly, Verity. It's the least I can do, really. Not that it's any of your business, Miles. Not anymore. If only you had remained a prosecutor. But you didn't. Now, if we're quite done making an old man cry over this whole sad affair. Very well. Allow me to continue.
Hold it!
Doot-doot-doot. Bing-doot-doot. So the raincoat really was one of the auction lots? That's correct. I believe it originally belonged to a Mr. Shelley Day Killer. Considering its status as a piece of evidence, it's the only logical conclusion. It's from when he made his attempt on the president's life. There was an unexplained mannequin standing amongst the other items on sale. Could have well been used to display the coat prior to the auction. Well, yeah, it's all the stuff from your cases except for the candle, so... Do we know how the items were being smuggled in? That's still under investigation, and is entirely unrelated to the matter at hand. Especially considering that you'll soon officially be a prosecutor, no longer Mr. Edgeworth. Sounds like the outcome of this hearing is a foregone conclusion. No surprises there. My personal circumstances aren't important right now. Please continue, Your Honor. As I was saying, the raincoat was one of the items up for sale.
Hold it!
Why did she leave so soon after making her purchase? Because of the auction house rules. Winning bidders are expected to pay for their items immediately. Miss Hart told us pretty much the same thing. Miss Ringer, having paid for the raincoat, probably left immediately afterwards in accordance with the rules.
Hold it!
Miss Ringer was a member of the committee. Could she have not left the committee chamber via the main door? While the auction was still underway, that would risk exposing its existence to those outside the trusted circle of attendees. Even that Miss Hart found out about it, I think its existence is already well exposed. It's funny, because, like, Lotta legitimately had a scoop here, and Edgeworth kind of, like, forced it out of her. The rules of the auction stated that the attendees were to enter and leave via the hatch on the roof. Miss Ringer had no reason not to follow those rules. And given where the murder took place, we know that she must have done so. Yeah, bribes, conflict of interest. God damn, this is a mess. It is. And it's gonna get messier, don't worry.
Hold it!
But why? What possible motive could Kay have had? That is exactly what we're hoping to establish in our upcoming interviews with Miss Faraday. Tripped over Miss there. Coercive interrogation after the fact. Something you seem to specialize in. If the murderer knew that the attendees would all be leaving via the hatch, then the roof would have been the perfect place to lie in wait. As I was saying, after she emerged onto the viewing platform, that's when Miss Ringer was attacked.
Hold it!
Her flame went out. The flame of her life, Mr. Edgeworth, though perhaps the flame was stolen from her, is more apt.
Objection!
But the candelabrum that extinguished her life is one of the auction lots, meaning Kay had no way of getting a hold of it to begin with.
Overruled!
Miss Faraday could have not have lain in wait for the victim without knowing of the storeroom's existence. She could easily have stuck down the ladder and stole it while the auction was underway. Only we knew where the candle holder was during the auction. That would surely clear the matter up, no? Well, either of you? Sadly, we don't have anything that could tell us that much on that front at the moment. Forgive me, sir. This is something we were hoping to establish through further investigation. Well, isn't that a shame, Miles, my boy? Disconnected from chat, that's cool. Seems this line of inquiry is something of a dead end then, isn't it? How many messages did I fucking miss? Because of Twitch chat. Here we go. I'm banking 4. Nope, just 1. Hey, Kenneth, how you doing? Actually, I didn't even miss that. That came in while I was refreshing. Alright, good. So the theory is that the victim and her killer met on the roof, and that's where the murder took place. My chat did that loading thing again, so I thought I missed messages. In other words, it assumes the viewing platform was the scene of the crime. But is that really the case? What about yours? What about your what? Thought I had evidence that clearly shows the story of what happened that night. Time to double check. I saw the message about your overconfidence, yeah. I brought that up earlier, I just missed the message before that. The only exit from the storeroom was, of course, the one hatching up to the roof. Yes. After winning and paying for it, she left the auction with her purchase. After she emerged onto the viewing platform, that's when Miss Ringer was attacked by Miss K. Well, alright. We know one thing right now. We know that this person had something red on their hands as they were going up the ladder. Red, worn by the victim whose fingerprints and blood were found on the hood. Oh, we actually didn't have this earlier. I don't think this is the right choice, but I'm gonna try it anyway.
Objection!
No. Do you mind taking a look at this, Judge Gavel? Am I expected to accept this as evidence? It appears to have no connection to my testimony. Ah! Judge Gavel's a tougher nut to crack than Mr. Winner. That doesn't mean I should give up. Assumption is after winning and paying for it, she left the auction with her purchase. The only exit from the storeroom was, of course, the hatch leading up to the roof. In other words, it assumes the viewing platform was the scene of the crime, but is that really the case? The evidence already clearly shows the story of what happened that night. Time to double check. Oh, the blood stain near the elevator.
Objection!
Nope, that wasn't right either.
Objection!
Nope. Okay. I mean, we know the pieces here, I just don't know where to put them.
Objection!
Yeah, that's it, right? No.
Objection!
Oh my god. I don't know what goes where here. This is annoying. Seems the viewing platform was the scene of the crime. Is that really the case? Thought I had evidence that clearly shows the story of what happened that night. Time to double check. Love how many different PNG tube models we seem to have. I have 9 right now. Technically 10. There's normal, and again, they're all made transparent right now, so you can see through them to read the text. They're normally solid. I have the normal one. I have Big Head. I have this one, which I love, but never comes up anymore, except as like a mistake. Like if I accidentally press it. I have Bird Kisser. which is a fun one to go back to occasionally. I have a Hamtaro form. I have that big sloshy one you just made, which was actually made by Kokori Cow, who was here in chat. I don't know if they're still here, but they were here just a little while ago. They're here. Borbkitzer, yeah. Hey. Yeah, I have this one, which I love this one. If I had an overlay so I could use it more without covering the screen, I would do it. Just got here. Hey, Izzy. Yeah, those emotes were also made by Kokori. Well, not the emotes themselves, but the images I made the emotes out of, the animations I made the emotes out of. You've done so much work for me over the years, and I thank you so much for it. I also have this from Paper Mario. I don't think I'm going to be keeping this one. If I get another one, I'm probably going to remove this one because I don't really use it anymore. I have the Heartless for when I do Kingdom Hearts, which I really want to do another one soon. I have Chow for whenever I do Sonic games. I think you saw that one when you were here last, though. And then I have this one specifically for Ace Attorney and visual novels. I have a human form, which I should be using right now. And then I also have this, which is used when I switch forms. It's like a little cloud. The artist who made the first two also made the cloud as like a little bonus for me. It was really nice. You remember the Chow, yeah. Okay, I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to present here. I'm gonna be honest, I'm drawing a complete blank. Only exit from the storeroom was, of course, the hatch leading up to the roof. After she emerged onto the viewing platform, that's when Miss Ringer was attacked by Miss Faraday.
Objection!
There we go. It was again, right evidence, wrong statement, or right statement, wrong evidence. Every time. So much bird, so little time. So adorable. Did you ever get your BRB sign? No, you were in chat when Nessie drew it. No, I never got the BRB sign for the PNG tuber. Which isn't really, it wouldn't really be part of the PNG tuber. It would just be like an accessory that I'd pull up, like the old Gamer Borb, emote, not emote, animation, which also Kokori also did. That's also it is an emote though in chat, or like the Suavemente Ganons. No, instead Nessie actually made me a BRB image. Remember? Here, it's right here. Bee right back, and it's supposed to be me at I guess 6 or 7 years old, looking at a bee in my nest. The Ganons, yeah, I love the Ganons. Whenever I play, whenever some like really hype music comes on, I deploy the Ganons. Maybe you could clear something up for me, Judge Gavelle. But what is Miss Hart doing here at this hearing? She's an eyewitness. Thought that would be obvious. Well, no, I ain't really an eyewitness. More of an ear witness, I guess. It's so cute. I know, I love it. Tell Nessie you like it, too. You know she loves hearing about how people love her work. She's not exactly the most confidence-inspiring choice to help you make your case, is she? I'd like to think I'd choose my allies a little more carefully than you, Mr. Edgeworth. Knew Nestle pencil and just never saw the finished art. I didn't realize it was finished either. She posted the pencils and then the finished art like 10 minutes later. That was it. Like, she worked really quickly on it. Should make an accessory of pea balloons floating around. You know what? I would like that a lot. I do have the pea balloon emote right now. Also, this, you'll never guess what that's supposed to be. That's something I used in one stream last year, and it's not working because I don't have the program open for it. Did I tap the wrong button there? No, I didn't. You should question more thoroughly, because there's something she hasn't told you. Take a look at this. It's a photo taken by Miss Hart. Yes, in the store... I clicked off the screen. Why did it send? The hell? Oh, chat fucked up again. Oh my god. Is it my internet or is Twitch just being weird? Sorry. I was gonna make... I posted it twice. I was gonna make that big. Can I make my Tetris big? Yeah. Big Tet. Big Tet. I hand drew that, by the way. I like to think it's Twitch being weird. Yeah, it is. I hand drew that Tetris thing, by the way. Made it very... Like, purposely designed it to fit within the 25 by 25, or 21 by 21 pixel limit. And it's good. Like, the very minor shading around the edge makes it makes it actually look really good from a distance. Very happy with my pixel art. Anyway, photo taken by Miss Hart. Yes, in the storeroom, correct? What of it? According to your theory, the murder occurred up on the roof. But according to Miss Hart's testimony, she happened to witness the entire incident unfold in the storeroom. Just before she took this picture. Wait, you're saying Gavel got it? Wrong. That's exactly what I'm saying. Wait, huh? Oh, you're saying Gavel got it wrong. Okay. I thought Edgeworth was saying Eustace was wrong. I mean, Eustace is always wrong, but let's be honest. Let's not fool ourselves here. Wait, you're saying Gavel got it wrong. That's exactly what I'm saying. What? Miss Hart, if I may confirm your account of the events you witnessed that night. She happened to witness the entire incident unfold in the storeroom just before she took the picture. Okay. Well, I completely spaced out while I was reading that. Miss Hart, if I may confirm your account of the events you witnessed that night. You saw the person in the picture, correct? I sure did. Clear as day. And my own 2 eyes to boot. Syntax would have helped by putting wrong in quotation marks, yeah. What were your impressions at that point? My impressions, this here right here is the scoop of the century. Something like that. Use the sentence ending with a hyphen, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I was hoping more for your impressions of the person in question. Oh, that there's a walk-in meal ticket? Seriously? Just my little joke. No, you look at me like I just sat in your lunch. Old red raincoat, right? Well, I took one look and I thought, that's our perp right there. And therein lies the rub. Okay, nice text that gets immediately cut off. And therein lies the rub. For Miss Hart to have thought that such a thing means the murder had occurred. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth, when will you learn to use your words? It's an explanation of the facts you require. You need only ask, you know? What do you mean? I assume you're about to raise the issue of the voices Miss Hart heard. Voices that may be unrelated.
Objection!
Unrelated? You could do better than that. Was one of the voices Miss Hart really heard even Miss Ringer's? You're kidding me, right? Them folks was talking crime-related turkey, or my name ain't Lotta Dang Hart. But did you hear them clearly? Well, can't rightly say for sure, but... Can't rightly say nothing, and you know it. They was using voice changers. I done told you all that. Precisely. Miss Hart heard voices, but those voices were disguised. Which means we cannot even be certain whatever she did hear and had anything to do with the murder.
Objection!
You need to yell objection in order to sigh at me, Mr. Edgeworth. Seems I overestimated you, Judge Gavel. Nonsense. Verity's the best of us, my boy. The very best! And yet she believes that what Miss Hart heard might have nothing to do with the murder. Even supposing that that's the case, it doesn't prove that the murder didn't happen in the storeroom. The incident happened before the victim was able to go up to the roof. That much we can say for certain. And I can tell you why. This proves that the incident happened before the victim went up to the roof.
Take
They
that!
got strawberry jam all over their hands. We initially thought that the person in the red raincoat was the culprit. Thank you for the follow, Neurodivergent. Oh, that's such a great username. Ah, amazing. Incredible choice of a username there. Or slash online handle in general, if it is. Yes, because Miss Hart said as much. Indeed, she told us about the blood she saw in this person's hand. And I doubt many people would have thought differently given her testimony. Ergo, if this person's the killer, then the blood we see would be from when they attacked the victim. Hello there, how's it go? It's going pretty well. How are you doing? But knowing what we know now, that this person is in fact the victim, recontextualizes everything. The presence of the blood still shows that the picture was taken after the attack. But now it tells us something very important about the victim, too. The picture tells us the victim survived the attack. There's no doubt in my mind that the victim was attacked in the storeroom. But here we have photographic evidence of her standing upright and alive, albeit with a bloody hand. This can only mean that Miss Ringer survived the attack. The blood in her hand is from the wound she had sustained. What are you talking about? Who dies from a hand wound? The wound wasn't on her hand, Mr. Winner. I imagine she had used her hand to try to staunch a wound. That's right. While it's impossible to tell from this angle, the victim was already mortally wounded here. Well, that certainly changes things, wouldn't it? Very much would. Not least by making it absurd to suggest that Kay was the attacker. Her encounter with the victim happened after this picture had been taken. After the victim had already been attacked and was in critical condition. I put it to you that all Kay witnessed was the victim finally succumbing to her wounds. That would have been quite the coincidence. It's a textbook case of wrong place, wrong time, I'd say. Bullshit. You seem to be forgetting a rather important fact, Mr. Edgeworth. Well, that or pretending not to remember it. What fact am I forgetting? I think it's time to wrap things up, don't you, Verity? Put the boy out of his misery. Dad, Gavelle works for me. Why do you keep giving her orders? It's my job. Oh, you really are a total and utter embarrassment. Great parenting. Again, between him and Carmelo, this is bad dad investigations. I'm not. Hate to break it to you, but you both are. Go to it, Gavelle. Put Edgeworth out of his misery. As you wish. What you're forgetting. Miss Ringer's body was found with 3 wounds in its chest. And we all know what those wounds are from, don't we? That's right. They're from when she was stabbed in the chest by a 3-armed candelabrum. Doubt anybody could survive such grave wounds. If you care to read the coroner's report, I'm sure you would change your tune. Nicely done, Gavelle. Now Edgeworth will have to make several objections. Yes, I'm afraid I will. What? Why? Were you listening? Oh, I was listening. Very carefully, in fact. Hence my objections. Come on, why do you always have to undermine me? Sorry, clicking some stuff off here. That's never my intention, I assure you. It isn't? Because you do it so well to yourself every single time already. Of course it isn't. Yeah, I knew that, because I'm... Please, Eustace, just stop, for goodness sake. You've already embarrassed me enough. Huh? What do you mean, Dad?
Hold it!
Can we borrow Von Karma's whip? Unfortunately not at the moment, she's not here. 3 wounds, that can't have been pleasant. Yes, which is why we must see that the perpetrator of this cruel act pays for their sins. Sorry, I was finishing the Dr. Pepper. Don't listen to her, Kay. She's just trying to scare you. If we could please continue on, Judge Gavelle. Very well. As I was saying, there were 3 wounds.
Hold it!
I do, but perhaps we should ask Mr. Winner. He does, I'm sure. Don't you, Eustace? Who, me? Oh, yeah, you bet I do. I know this case inside out. Who does he think he's fooling? Eustace, my boy, make an old man happy and at least glance at the coroner's report, would you? Sure, let's see. Yada yada, 3 puncture wounds, blah blah, candle holder. No, wait, that's what they used? Crazy. Ahem, precisely. The wounds were inflicted just as Eustace says. She's hitting that mommy pose.
Hold it!
And you saw the stabs to the chest were the cause of death. There's no doubt about that. None. One of the spikes in the candelabrum even pierced the victim's heart. Unless you mean to call Dr. Kurtz's professional opinion into question, we can only treat that as fact. Coroner's opinion backing up my own winning ones? Now that's what I call a flawless victory. Well, I'm certainly not about to ignore the coroner's findings. Hey, what about my findings? You can't just ignore them. But if the cause of death was really the puncture wounds to the chest from the candelabrum, that would seem to contradict one of the pieces of evidence we've gathered. He's not just ignoring my findings, he's ignoring me. Do something, Gavel. As you wish. At the very least, I'll ensure that he cannot ignore my own conclusions.
Hold it!
But the victim may not necessarily have died instantly. I think we could say that much at least. Perhaps, but she would surely not have lived for longer than a few moments either. So there are people who could survive even if you stab them in the chest? Sure, there might be. And there might not be, too. So which is it? Trust me, there are not. And in case you're still tempted to believe there might be.
Hold it!
Cause of death is a set of 3 puncture wounds to the left side of the chest, inflicted by a candle holder. Well done for reading, Mr. Edgeworth. That report forms the basis of my own conclusions. In other words, if I disprove what it says, I disprove your conclusions, too. You have the strangest sense of humor, but I wouldn't mind seeing you try. However, before you do, I would advise you to read that report very carefully, wondering if there was then a secret second attack. Like Bomberman. Bomberman, the second attack. God, I want to stream Bomberman games. Hudson, Konami, put them on NSO, please. There's a reason I made that emote of Baruda from the game. I want to fight the inflatable laser bird. After all, I'm not interested in your opinions, only in solidly grounded deductions. Very well, then you shall have my deductions. Mr. Edgeworth. Don't worry, Kay, everything will be alright. I need to find something to prove the victim was still alive and breathing immediately after the attack. If I can't, Kay's fate will be sealed. I mean, I do think, because the victim had 2 wounds. Puncture, and then also a head wound. But something regarding the coroner's report seems to be off, apparently. We don't have a coroner's report in here. Oh no, coroner's findings. Preliminary find. Oh, I never read this, did I? Preliminary findings placed the time of death at some time late last night. Cause of death is said of 3 puncture wounds on the left side of the chest inflicted by a candle holder. I mean, that's her left. It's our right. Victim also suffered a head injury post-mortem. Other remarks: prominent burn mark on the victim's right hand. Is that the contradiction here? The blood in her hand matches the blood on the other image. The red raincoat image.
Objection!
That wasn't what was wrong. Stabby. Is there maybe a difference between these 2 outfits? No. don't think the side the chest is on has anything to do with anything. Because, I mean, her heart is on that side of her body, so... Sure you would change your tune. Huh. The head wound bleed post-mortem? Yeah, it would, but... Need to find something to prove the victim was still alive and breathing immediately after the attack. I can't fake case...
Objection!
No, that wasn't right. Oh, not doing too well here. Whoa. My mouse was in a precarious position there. The blood in the hand proves she clutched the wound, right? Yeah. I'm trying to figure out what... Hold on. If you had to read the coroner's report, I'm sure you would change your tune.
Hold it!
Press that one again. They're really, like, hammering in reading the report. Blood was found in the hood. Oh, wait a minute.
Objection!
Nope. Second page is a picture. Yeah, it's a picture of a corpse. Or dead-ass corpse, yet.
Objection!
Damn it! I know I'm right! This is actually frustrating me now. Okay, the autosave was like 3 minutes ago. There was blood on the hood too, meaning she got injured on the head before she died.
Hold it!
Where's the burn on her hand from? No clue yet.
Objection!
I don't know. I don't see that. Oh man, I hate when this happens. When there's like one where you obviously know what the answer is, but like you just can't find the part to present the evidence. 1 second. Alright. Sorry. Doubt anyone could survive such grave wounds. If you care to read the coroner's report, I'm sure you would change your tune. Nah, I can't zoom in on this red raincoat. Won't let me access it.
Hold it!
Ah. Care to read the coroner's report? I'm sure you would change your tune. Reports picture? You can't do anything in the reports picture. Prominent burn mark on the back of the victim's right hand. Cause of death is a set of 3 puncture wounds on the left side of the chest inflicted by a candle holder. Victim also suffered a head injury post-mortem. Found death sometime late last night. Discovered in committee chamber. Signed Hilda Hertz, coroner. Outfit. If she was wearing the red raincoat, then why does her dead body have stab wounds through the auctioneer's costume? Ah. But okay, but where do I present that? They're from when she was stabbed in the chest by a 3-armed candelabrum. That anybody could survive such grave wounds. If you care to read the coroner's report, I'm sure you would change your tune.
Objection!
There we go. I had to present the raincoat that doesn't have stab wounds in it. Chairman Winner, you know what this is, of course. The red raincoat. That's right, isn't it, Verity? Yes, sir. The one Miss Ringer was wearing. I warn you, Mr. Edgeworth, you will not be thanked for retreading old ground here. Well, I'm afraid I might have to regardless. Now then, if you'll answer me this, Judge Gavel. You told us that the victim's bloodstains were found on the coat. But do you remember where exactly they were found? Of course, they were found on the hood and... No! What's the matter, Verity? The hood end. Was the blood found anywhere out on the raincoat? No, it was not. Doesn't that strike you as odd? The victim died of stab wounds to the chest. Wouldn't that lead one to expect to find bloodstains in that area? And yet, there was only blood on the hood. That's a glaring contradiction if I ever saw one. The head wound the victim suffered wasn't just some incidental injury. It was inflicted before the stab wounds to her chest. Perhaps you are correct. Perhaps the victim did sustain the head injury first. As you said, if she had been stabbed first, there should be blood in the chest area of the raincoat. Therefore, Miss Ringer could not have been stabbed before the head injury had been inflicted on her. But even if we concede this point, that the head injury came before the chest wound, what difference would it make? How does it change our understanding of the case? I'd say it changes things a great deal. In fact, it raises an even more fundamental contradiction. That's quite the bold claim, Mr. Edgeworth. Have to admit, you have me intrigued. Perhaps you could show us this fundamental contradiction, with some evidence. This piece of evidence best demonstrates the contradiction in the order the injuries revealed.
Take that!
Dead body. This is Dr. Hertz's preliminary findings. according to which the victim suffered a head injury post-mortem. But the order suggested by the bloodstains on the raincoat is exactly the opposite, yes. Bailiff, this court hereby subpoenas Dr. Hilda Hertz to the committee chamber with all due haste. Until she testifies, this case cannot be brought to a close. Yes, Your Honor. I'll go fetch her at once. Unfortunately, Dr. Hertz is a very busy woman. Doubt she'll be able to come immediately. In the meantime, there's another important angle I would like to explore. Frankly, something has been bothering me about the person at the heart of this case. The so-called ringleader. Who exactly are they? Yeah, good point. We never looked into that, huh? Despite having been mentioned repeatedly in this hearing, we still don't even know the most basic facts that might help us uncover their identity. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any thoughts on the matter? We've seen nothing that might serve as clear evidence of the auctioneer's identity as of yet, but there is someone involved with this case that I can name. I suspect that at the very least they might be able to point us in the right direction. And that's... Chairman Winner. I demand that you testify as to what you know. What? Are you crazy? Why would you accuse my dad? You would cast doubt on the integrity of the chairman of the committee? You do understand the implications of such an act. I don't care who or what he is. We're talking about the truth here. About a man who seems dead set on framing Kay at all costs. The mask, corsage, ticket stub, and everything else, the items Kay was carrying when she was found. They were deliberately placed in her possession somehow, by Chairman Winner himself. A shocking accusation, one I find hard to believe, but for the sake of completeness, I must ask, why would he do such a thing? To case suspicion of Kay. To case suspicion on Kay, of course. Why else? To case suspicion? Is it to cast suspicion? I think that might be a typo. I even managed to get him to say something to that effect. Chairman Winner, your rebuttal, please. I think the good chairman might be in shock. So what if I did? Did you hear me, dear boy? I said, so what if I did? You say you got me to admit as much? Where's your proof, With no witnesses to speak of, your word alone is hardly enough to make an accusation like that stick. Or do you mean to tell us you have something more to base your outburst on? This was the arrogance he showed back at the detention center, and yet... Mr. Edgeworth, I'm going to have to ask you to explain yourself. If that's all right, Mr. Chairman. Not at all. I'll be very interested to hear this for myself. I'm intrigued to learn where Miles might have gotten that idea that I'm some sort of criminal. Because you'll never find a more fine and upstanding citizen than myself. He has a lot of nerve acting all innocent like that. Celsius, that's not how a normal person talks in this franchise, yeah? Very well, let's start at the very beginning. The fact that the auction took place right here in this hollowed trial chamber is a point of suspicion. A location that should, by rights, only be accessible to the members of the committee. Yeah, they all have keycards to the room after all. Furthermore, the auctions seem to be held on a somewhat regular basis. And for that to be possible, there can only be one winning explanation. That's right, Mr. Winner. The auctioneer is a member of the committee. Well, no! What is wrong now? What do I do, Dad? I played right into his hand. You did indeed, you utter nitwit. Well, Miles, my boy, you do realize you've cast quite a wide net with your explanation. That's true. There are 11 members of the committee altogether. 10 given Miss Ringer's unfortunate passing. 10 potential suspects in total. Well, it certainly wasn't me. And it can't be the chairman, can it? Whoever it is, speak up right now. Calm down, all of you, please. Well, Miles, is that all the proof you've got against me? Ugh. Is that all the proof you've got against me? You're very quiet all of a sudden, but it's too late to back out now. You accuse the former chief prosecutor and current committee chairman of a crime. Gah. I would tell you to prepare for the worst. But there's no preparing for what you're about to face. Fucking eyes, man. These guys don't look nearly as important a character enough to be the culprit. Know your place. You've been forcing us to argue a very little detail for a while now. Where the murder happened, the order of the victim's injuries, some other things I hardly remember. But you needn't bother, my boy, because it's all irrelevant in the end. Think about it. The suspect herself already said she did it. That's all that matters in the end, at the end of the day, and her sentence will be lighter for it. So rejoice! And there you have it. Feel free to pick holes in it as you see fit. How can I when that was barely a testimony to begin with? That man, he's a very powerful person, isn't he? It's okay, Mr. Edgeworth. Please, just let it go. I did it. I'm the murderer. I even remember doing it. You saw a flash of something half-remembered, Kay. Nothing more. You must believe in something. Believe in me when I say that you should believe in your own innocence instead. But I'm up against the head of the committee here. This isn't going to be easy. But he seems to think he's already won. Perhaps I could use that against him. You've been forcing us to argue over a little detail. Yeah, because that's the whole game, and more importantly, y'all have been making us fight over minor things, yeah.
Hold it!
Even if the broad strokes are correct, it doesn't make something true. Oh, don't be such a stick in the mud. I'd say the bigger picture here is more than enough. After all, every case has its little inconsistencies and contradictions. We let ourselves get bogged down in every single one, we'd never make any arrests. And once we did, the trials would drag on forever. Even you understand that, right? Not in the slightest, hence my inquiry into the details. Oh, to be so young and pig-headed. Anyway, just you keep digging into those little details.
Hold it!
I seem to recall the ringleader's identity and the faulty coroner's report being critical points of contention. Yes, I was listening, my boy, but critical is a matter of opinion. How could you possibly suggest that such fundamental issues are not important? Perhaps it's your ability to make sound judgments that should be on trial here today. Bravo, my young hothead. Wonderfully cutting stuff. You like to try, though, don't ya?
Hold it!
There's no way any of what we discussed today is irrelevant, not unless you intend to bury the truth. But none of it is relevant, dear boy. The only reason you keep trying to make it relevant is because otherwise you're up a creek without a paddle.
Hold it!
Just because she confessed to something doesn't make it the truth. Kay is suffering from amnesia, so any statement she made should be taken with at least a grain of salt.
Objection!
Oh, there we go, this is objection. Even so, it doesn't exactly solve anything for us, does it now, dear boy? And it would be nonsensical to dismiss her confession outright. I'll tell you what, why don't you ask her one last time? I'm sure she'll just say she did it again. Fine, let's do it. Let's ask her again. We'll see if she really believes herself to be the culprit. Huh? You mean, me? Is this really what you want, Mr. Edgeworth? If it goes badly, it could significantly weaken your position. I know, but there's no other way. I request that I be the one to question her. You really know how to tug on an old man's heartstrings, you know? Rough voice at that, yeah. But fine, ask away. On one condition. If this turns out to be a waste of time, that's it. We'll call the proceedings to an end, then and there. Agreed? Call the proceedings to an end? You mean the hearing? Yes, dear boy, that's right. Perhaps you're in a complete muddlehead after all. Now, just so we're clear, if we ask again and all that happens is the girl confirms her guilt, she's officially declared guilty on the spot. Yes, that sounds like a great plan if I do say so myself. That's it? You just declare her guilty just like that? That's the gist of it. It's a big risk, but he's going to find a way to condemn her either way if we don't do something. Okay? Yes? I know it's a lot to ask, but I need you to think. Do you remember anything else about what happened on the day of the murder? Anything that might help us prove your innocence? Why? Why are you still fighting it, Mr. Edgeworth? It's no use. I can't be of help to you. I'm sorry. I'm too scared to try to remember anymore. What if I remember something even worse? And if I did, I'd just be making more trouble for you. Please, just accept it. The Kay you thought you knew is a dangerous criminal. A criminal who let you down and betrayed your trust. Don't worry, Kay. You have nothing to be afraid of. I may not have known you for very long, but I know you well enough. And right now I'd say I'd know you better than you know yourself. Cool music. You would never commit a murder. You could never, because this is who you really are. Wow, it's the entire health bar if I fuck up.
Take that!
You're the great thief, Yatagarasu. A noble outlaw who would never stoop so low as to kill. I can't do it. I'm sorry. This is what like being friends with an introvert. When I will allow myself to be arrested under false charges, it means I don't put you in more trouble. Yeah. Because all I could see is the one memory that's returned. I have to face it.
Hold it!
No, the only evidence of your guilt is the confession they forced out of you. As I said earlier, you have to believe that you're better than that. Or are you saying you don't believe a word of what I've been telling you? No, it's not that. You're trying so hard to help me, and you're risking so much for me. It's too much. You have to stop. I'm begging you. Ah, so that's what's going on. I thought it was strange, but now I see. The reason you're allowing yourself to be railroaded into accepting your fate is because of me, isn't it? Which is exactly what the K I would have known. Ugh, which is exactly what the K I know would have done. You're a good person, Mr. Edgeworth. Sorry to burst your bubble, but I'm not. I don't plan on becoming one anytime soon. Because despite all your wishes to the contrary, I'm still trying to help you. So you see, I've merely been servicing my own ego, regardless of what I put you through. Now let's try this again. See the good in yourself, Kay. Remember the noble thief you truly are. That memory of you committing the murder, you need to question it with all you have. That's all I ask, so please, do it for me. Kay. What's wrong? Did you remember something? It'd be like some cliche movie plot if she did. A cow. A cow? That's me. I need a cow form for my PNG tuber. Actually, before April, I'd like to get a Yinglet form for my PNG tuber. I know that's kind of out of left field, but gotta find someone who could specialize in Yinglets. I burst your bubble, Excelsius, with this franchise full of cliche movie twists. Yep. Mr. Edgeworth, if you could perhaps ask her for a few more details. Well, Kay, what can you tell us about this cow? I remember now. The person in the red raincoat, she had it in her hand. A stuffed cow. I can see it so clearly now. Are you sure, Miss Faraday? Are you absolutely certain? Yes, I'm sure. And this court acknowledges the defendant's latest statements as new testimony.
Objection!
Have you lost your mind, Verity? We can't accept testimony like this. With all due respect, Mr. Chairman, information pertaining to the victim and her possessions is new and highly relevant evidence.
Objection!
Need I remind you of the addled state of her memory? No, this simply won't do. Addled? But if we claim her memory is unreliable now, then her own argument is weakened, sir. You said yourself only a few minutes ago that thanks to the suspect's confession, we need not worry ourselves over the finer details, did you not? Were we to call the validity of her memories into question, then we must also call into question the confession on which the entire argument is based. Is that really the most advisable course of action? Yes, you're right. Proceed as you see fit, then. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We're still in the game, but only by the skin of our teeth. And only thanks to Judge Gavel's intervention. It's almost as if she was on our side for a second there. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, the stuffed animal. I believe the cow in question is this thing here, Your Honor. We found it in the storeroom, and believe it is yet another auction lot. Wait, that's... Do you know something, Gavel? No, it's just... No, not what I imagined. I suppose it's a rather odd thing for the victim to have been carrying. Hot mommy with the change of heart. You'll see. You'll see as we go along how important this stuffed animal ends up being. I should look it over carefully. The right horn seems intact, but I can't say it's doing much for the overall symmetry of the stuffed toy. Look, Mr. Edgeworth, it moves. It does. Sounds like sand being crushed. What seems a recording device hidden inside. And... I knew it was you the moment I laid eyes on you. You can't hide that burn from me. Nothing to say for yourself? I've waited so long for this day, and now I'll finally have my revenge. Ah! Could this be the moment of the murder? Someone made a recording of it. Fitted with the recording device that captured part of a conversation, one of the people recorded had a prominent burn. Hey, that's them right there. Them's the voices I heard. Sure as eggs is eggs.
Overruled.
Unfortunately, we have no way of verifying when these voices were recorded. It's possible they have nothing to do with the murder. Only there was some accompanying video footage. Got bugs in your ears or something, lady? I done told you, them's the voices I heard. And we already know the victim was holding that thing, right? So it's gotta be for when she got. Yes, it is a possibility, but a weak one without more than your word to back it up. We need something more. Something credible. Well, we know there's that burn then, yeah. We need. Yet again, she seems to be stepping in to help. Judge Gavel, I think we all know the voices are from the moment of the murder. Yet again, she seems to be stepping in help. They missed the word "to" there. That's another one to show Ephraim later. Consider for a moment the words we heard one of the speakers say. I knew it was you the moment I laid eyes on you. You can't hide that burn from me. I believe we have something that could explain what these words are referring to and how it's all related. Which piece of evidence proves the voices from the murder occurred?
Take that!
The coroner's preliminary findings? How did they prove anything? Indeed, one on this page shows the voices maybe from the time of the murder.
Take that!
Think again on the words we heard. This part in particular sticks out in my mind. You can't hide that burn from me. This victim had a prominent burn mark on the back of her right hand. And what of it? According to case testimony, the victim was carrying the stuffed cow toy, and a burn mark, an identifying mark unique to the victim, was mentioned on the recording it captured. Just a coincidence. Stuff like that happens all the time, right? This is the bit where we say 1 to 10 is totally... We say -1 out of 10, totally unreadable, and get 1 million hate watch views. I mean, I can't really say that when Capcom has a track record of typo translations all the time. Let me tell you, playing Mega Man Battle Network for the first time and catching every single typo in those games was almost like another game in and of itself. Hold on one second. Alright, 1 more billion views. Fun drinking game. How many times does the localization team fuck up the translations in this Capcom game? I mean, it's not even that they fucked up the translations, they're just typos. Lots of case issues where it's like they put something in past tense when it should be in present. 10 Ustillion US dollars alone. From the ad revenue alone. This truly was the best stream. Oh, yeah, wow. I wonder if they'd be willing to do a PNG tuber, though, Rebel Bunny. I want to commission. So this is the thing, though. If I commission them, I want to. I would want to get like big art from them because that's what that's like what I really like from them. But I guess, you know, they open commissions often, so I should really look into that. Just a coincidence. Stuff like that happens all the time, right?
Overruled.
Not so sure that it does, especially not in this case. The court accepts that the recording may be from the time of the murder, in which case one of the two voices must belong to the real culprit. And based on the content of the conversation, it seems likely that it's the one we hear the most. That still doesn't tell us anything about the killer's true identity, or even if they're male or female. Due to the voice changes, correct. Unfortunate, but unavoidable. One thing, however, has become clear. We are now able to say that the voices Miss Hart heard were those of Miss Ringer and her killer. Okay. Just like I done told you they was. We can say something else now, too. Then let's hear it. That is... Wait, what? That is, if you don't mind, Mr. Chairman. Do as you wish. According to Miss Hart, just before the murder occurred, two people came up the storeroom from the committee chamber on the elevator. The ringleader and one of the auction attendees. It seems that this was the point at which the money exchanged hands. The murder happened immediately afterward, and the auction carried on after that. All of which points to one key fact. What else does this latest revelation tell us? The ringleader was the killer, Miss Ringer was the killer, the ringleader was the victim. The ringleader was the killer. Since the ringleader was the auction's sole auctioneer, then it follows that they cannot be the victim. Hey, Gavel. Not right now, Eustace. There's a good boy. Looking like a little puppy. If they weren't the victim, then they could only have been the killer.
Overruled.
A compelling argument, but hardly conclusive. I am fully aware of that, Your Honor. I was merely warming up for the main event. There were certain traces left in the scene that seemed to suggest the ringleader was the killer. And please hurry up and show us. What is something that was placed in the scene that points to the ringleader as having been the killer? The box?
Take that!
The evidence clearly shows the ringleader was the murderer. Nope. I don't get it. No surprises there, but I'm sure the rest of the room will see what I'm getting at. And once I agree with my idiot boy. How can that be? The ringleader was the killer. There's something they would have wanted to hide. You need to present a piece of evidence that suggests that. Yeah, I did. The box, so they could hide the body. Mr. Edgeworth, if you wish for us to believe your assertion that the ringleader was the killer, we will need to see some evidence to that effect. I understand, Your Honor, and I'm about to show you just that. That was placed in the scene that points to the ringleader as having been the killer.
Take that!
Nope, that wasn't it. The card? Huh. Really? What? Why is that on slot 3? Fuck. I don't want a new slot there. Get that out of there. Can't delete those either. That sucks. I don't think you can, at least. No. Could it have been the key card?
Take that!
The blood? Yep. The killer deliberately left a large pool of blood at the foot of the Goddess Justice's statue. It was due to that blood that we originally thought the murder had happened in this chamber, but it was simply a ruse designed to cover up the blood that had dripped down from the storeroom. Now, the card makes no sense, because the card would have been how... Of course, Ringer would have the card. It's her card. In order to conceal the existence of an underground auction, correct? Correct. If the culprit had nothing to do with the auction, they would have had no reason to cover up the blood. You're not a moron. This is difficult. This isn't easy. Which further supports the theory that the ringleader and the killer are one and the same. And as to the identity of the ringleader, do you have anyone you'd like to name? The auction is always held in the committee chamber, with its storeroom located just overhead. So at the very least, we know the murderous ringleader has some connection to the committee. Yes, and you suspect me, correct? As the committee's most powerful member, that should hardly a surprise, right? God damn it! As the committee's most powerful member, that should hardly be a surprise, right? It even looks like there's an extra space between hardly and A where the word was supposed to go. Yeah, take a drink. Take a shot. I should, after this is done, after I'm done with the final case, I should pull all the screenshots where I saw a typo, and we should see how many there were.
Objection!
You're a fine prosecutor. That much I'll give you. But as I think I may have mentioned already, you're also hopelessly naive. You got nothing, dear boy, have you? No evidence whatsoever. Unless you've got something to share after all. Do I have any evidence to show that Chairman Winner is the murderer? I don't know. I don't think I do. It was Chairman Winner himself who brought up the fact that I suspected him. And he seemed confident right from the get-go that he's untouchable. Which means he knows. He knows I have nothing. Well, Miles, my boy, time to pay the piper. I've always wanted to say that. Verity, he's all yours. Hold it. Wait, dang it. I just remembered something. Huh? Did you have amnesia too? No, it just uncame to me. Flash of inspiration, you know how it is. Very well. Say your piece.
Objection!
What are you doing, Verity? Mr. Edgeworth has made it clear he won't give up until every last lick of hope has been extinguished. So extinguish we must, lest he try to drag us through this excruciating process again in the future. Yeah, what she said. I don't quite get it, but it sounded pretty cool. Don't worry, Dad. I'll help Gavel bring this to a winning finish. We'll show them how wrong they are. Fine. See what the witness has to say. You are the chairman, Miss Hart, if you'd be so kind. All right, then. Here goes nothing. The facts, Miss Hart, and nothing but the facts, please. Don't you worry your pretty little head on that front. I'm a journalist. Truth's my middle name. Color me officially worried. So the ringleader's the killer, right? Which means the victim's one of them old auction goers. Thing is, that don't add up. I counted 11 people coming down that hatch, see? Then the murder happened, and then the auction started back up again. Now, I had me a look back downstairs right after that. No. And when you know it, there were 11 little duckies all lined up in a row again. How? And you're sure of this, Miss Hart? Sure as sure can be, your gavel ship. So I'm right with my own two peepers. So, 11 before the murder, and 11 again right after means... Wait, that's a thingy! A contradiction, Eustace. Do try to keep up. Miss Hart, did really nothing really change at all? I done told you already, they carried right on again like nothing even happened. Oh, except for... Wasn't nothing much, but... What is it? The little old mallet doodad. Can't have yourself an auction without one. Kinda like one Missy got over there, but different. The auctioneer's hammer. That's the bunny. Oh, that was actually the old Ace Attorney hammer slam. I done heard that thing banging and clanging right the way through, then nothing. Just like that. So the noise of the hammer stopped midway through? Could have something to do with the murder. Very clever for Gavel to say we have to let this happen, otherwise we'll never hear the end of it, and Celsius just takes it. Yep. Miss Hart's statement updated. If what Miss Hart's telling us is true, then we have something of a problem. Auctioneer to you after Ringer's murder, but the sound of the auctioneer's hammer can no longer be heard. Namely, that if the victim is neither the auctioneer nor one of its attendees, your entire theory cannot stand, Mr. Edgeworth. Ugh. Chalk one up for justice. Eat that, Edgeworth. See, Mr. Edgeworth, there really was nothing we could do. Like where the box comes in, yeah. No, there must be something we're overlooking. Something we still don't have an explanation for. I just need to think. If I can't, Kay is... Alright, kids, do we finally have all our answers now? If so, I expect you to make good on... Hold it. One moment, sir. I worry that it might still be a little too early to pass judgment. After all, we have one more matter yet to resolve. That coy little smile on her face when she said that. Let this play out. I think Edgeworth is growing on her. I mean, I think there's something more to it than that. Maybe Miss Ringer was brought in with the box and the auction was the first dibs to murder her. I don't think it was that, but I do think that you have a... that might be where this is leading. And until we do, we cannot claim complete and total victory over Mr. Edgeworth. Is it not so, Mr. Edgeworth? Frankly, I expected you would have raised your voice by now. A loud hold it, perhaps? Oh, yes, of course. And once again, she's rescued us from the jaws of defeat. Very well, let's get this over with, shall we? What's this one matter that still remains? Why, the contradiction in the coroner's report, sir. That's... I'm back with the witnesses, Your Honor. What's this all about? Why'd you call us back down here? Down here? Up here. On the 50th floor. Also, again, gonna point this out, and I don't care if it comes down to smoking, she's 60. And she's younger than Excelsius. And yet she looks like 20 years older than him. Did somebody suddenly fall ill? I'll have a compress ready in 2 shakes of a... Ow. This better be good. Did somebody else drop dead? Well, they might soon wish they had. Man, listen, we all age differently. Yeah, I know. But for that to be how a 60-year-old person looks, that's kind of, like, hyper old. And she's a doctor at a really good hospital. How would she not take good care of herself? Dr. Hertz, Miss Needler, thank you for coming on such short notice. Let me assure you, this won't take long. Quit trying to butter me up and cut to the chase, will you? God, why is this? They really stopped proofreading at this point, did they? Didn't they? Of course, we summoned you here to confirm something. What is Judge Gavel up to? Dr. Hertz, this court asks that you provide the unabridged truth regarding the following. Do you stand by your preliminary findings? Can you vouch for their complete and total accuracy? Last minute crunch and about 20 cups of coffee can make anyone go blind. Typo so contagious they're affecting your speech patterns. Not just me streaming for over 2 hours. My voice starts to get fucked up. My tongue feels like it's too big for my mouth. Grandma doesn't make mistakes, ever. That's strange. Huh? What do you mean? In the course of this trial, an error was indeed found in her report. Yes, someone. That's exactly what someone else that often comes to this stream would probably say in response to that statement I made. And so I ask again for the truth, Dr. Hertz. Did you alter, tamper with, or in any way falsify your findings? That's awful. How can you even say that? What are you asking me for? Why the heck would I want to do that? To help the true culprit, of course. As if I know anything about all that. I just know I didn't do anything of the sort. That seems doubly strange. What other explanation could there be for the discrepancy in your report? Mr. Edgeworth, wonder if you might have any thoughts on the matter. It's not like you to be coy, I must say. Why does she keep taking charge and helping me? Still don't know what she's trying to do, but I'll happily take what I can get. Everything was recorded accurately and then handed off to Mr. Winner according to protocol, and the report shouldn't contain any mistakes. Wait, for the record, I didn't do anything to report. I guess we'll see, won't we? Dr. Hertz, perhaps we could begin with your side of the story. Why do we even need to? This is pointless. I'll be the judge of what's pointless, thank you very much. We have patients waiting back at the hospital. But Grandma, ow! We really don't have time for this. Won't you please help us? I can't stress how important this is. Gavel's doing an Edgeworth, you moron. You of all people would know this, Edgeworth. Grandma, she says she'll testify. But could you please make it quick? We're not back soon. People will suffer. And yet you had no qualms about taking your time and buying cotton candy the last time we saw you. We'll let you go as soon as we can, I promise. Assuming you tell us the truth, that is. The so-called mistake in the report. No way there's a mistake in Grandma's report. Not never. I've been dealing with the dead longer than you've been alive, Sonny Jim. Me writing something wrong is about as likely as ow. And what the heck do you think I'd stand to gain by doctoring a file, Don't make a lick of sense. And that's all she has to say. Nothing funky here. See? Just as I thought. No chance the good doctor doctored her findings. And you swear by the holy goddess that this testimony is true. Of course, Grandma's never told a lie in her...
Objection!
Your opinions are not necessary, Nurse Needler. Your grandmother is the subject of this inquiry, not you. Not necessary? That's not fair. I'm the only ally poor Grandma has. Go ahead and shout objection left and right, but you best be prepared then, Mr. Ex-Prosecutor. Oh, I'm more than prepared. I'm ready to expose the truth behind the error in the report. Could really do with the to be continued here so I can get my health back. Though if I lose, I think I just restart from this point anyway. No way, there's no way, okay.
Hold it!
Never. You're saying Dr. Hertz is infallible? She has to be. A doctor can't afford to make mistakes. I mean, a veteran like Grandma would be out of a job if she messed up even once. So there's no way she of all people would. Got a whole hospital relying on me. Might be you can bungle your work and survive, mister, but I can't.
Hold it!
And you've really never made a single mistake in all that time. Doctoring's all about experience. The longer you've been at it, the better you get. Well, the same were true of prosecuting. Sherman Winter would be the best in the business. But I think we can all agree that's not the case. Oh, you really are a devil, Miles. But you're also quite wrong. I've never once made a mistake either. After all, I have people to do that for me. I'm too busy for foul-ups. And lucky for me, I don't have to make them. Isn't having people just grand? Love his jacket so much. Don't you go trying to make doctoring and lawyering sound the same. They ain't nothing alike. Nothing alike, I tell ya.
Hold it!
The victim appears to have put this raincoat on after sustaining the head injury, and yet there was not a single drop of blood in the chest area of the raincoat. Therefore, she must have been hit in the head before she was stabbed in the chest, making it pre-mortem. Oh, that's... ow! I don't need you to teach me how to suck eggs, young man. My danged report already says what you just said, don't it? Is she a sucking grandma? Is she a gushing granny? Fellas, we might have a new favorite Ace Attorney character here.
Objection!
Your report states that the head injury appears to have been sustained post-mortem, which is the exact opposite of what I just said. Ow! Oh, sure. I diligently dictated the report to Florence here, and she wrote it all down just like I said. Something happened to it after that, weren't nothing to do with me. You dictated it, if you could please tell me more.
Hold it!
Oh, this is a new thing. I diligently dictated that report to Florence. Anything after that weren't nothing to do with me. Yeah, I'll teach your grandmother to suck eggs. I think, that might be what it's referencing. Stinky Wizzle Teats. Just so we're on the same page, what were your conclusions regarding the body? Well, like I said, ow! Sorry, it was, death from a good old hard knock to the noggin. And can you say for certain when that knock happened, Dr. Hertz? Death from a good hard knock to the noggin? That's not what's in the report! It's death from the candelabrum. Pre-mortem, of course. Chest wound happened after the poor girl died. Told Florence that, and she wrote it right down. So that's what it says in my danged report. That may be what you told her, but I think we're finally getting to the truth. What the heck did you think I'd stand by Doctor in a file?
Hold it!
May not have stood to gain anything from it, but what about your granddaughter? Me? I didn't stand to gain anything either. Never mind her. What about your little friend over there, She'd stand to gain something for sure. Look at you trying to accuse my sweet, innocent Florence of wrongdoing. Yeah, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Wish you'd tell that to Chairman Winner. Anyhow, nobody doctor that report, you hear me? Nobody.
Hold it!
Did anything stand out as strange to either of you when you were examining the body? Let's see, huh? What's that, Grandma? Pretty strange young fellow showed up, that's for sure. A strange man. Who? Dressed like a danged fool he was. All frilly round the neck and such. They're talking about him. And the dangest thing of all, even though we all knew the idiot boy was about to get fired, he still insisted on messing with my scene. That's right, I'm talking about you, mister. Ruffle-necked ruffian, crimson-suited creep. Oh, so Mr. Edgeworth is a ruffian and a creep. Those are not words you need to commit to memory, Kay. Dr. Hertz doesn't sound like she's lying. No, but she only communicates through her granddaughter. I should probably try to make sure that Nurse Needler is being truthful, too. Can I just go for that, or am I gonna have to do something else here?
Objection!
Nope, it was good enough. Dr. Hertz, I'd like you to take a look at the report for yourself. Oh, I'll read it too. Ow! Uh-oh. This ain't what I said. This ain't what I said at all. What? What do you mean exactly? I don't know. Ow. But I can't say that. Ow. Damn, they fighting, yeah. Like grandma, like granddaughter. Miss Needler, if you're attempting to bury Dr. Hertz's truth, I will gladly hear her confession myself on behalf of the Goddess of Justice. Dr. Hertz seems to be telling Judge Gavelle something in private. What? I see. Very well, allow me to relay everyone what you just have told me. Ain't no doubt about what she said. I dictated my findings to Florence just like I told you I did. The fuddle-headed young thing must have wrote it down wrong or something. Wow, that was a great impression. Yes, but was it really necessary? So in summary, there's an error in the report. It was all because of you, Nurse Needler. The true facts have now been shown to the world. Have now been shown that the head injury occurred prior to the chest wound for the world. Where did that come from? The question now, Miss Needler, is why did you introduce such an error? Just a minute, Verity. You make it sound as if the poor girl did it deliberately. Whereas it seems to me she just made a little mistake. Pre-mortem, post-mortem, they're practically the same word, don't you think? Except they mean two completely opposite things. This was deliberate, no doubt about it. But why would she want to change it? Exactly. Thanks, Kay. Ow! You won't get away that easy. Explain yourself, young lady. But Grandma, One thing I learned from medical class is you don't make errors like that. Yeah. Hey, Razu. You submitted a falsified report, and act led to Kay being accused of murder. The report explicitly said Miss Ringer died of the candles. Yep. You owe us an explanation. But I can't. I can't tell you. Not don't want to, but can't? This is really rather unpleasant, don't you think? Ganging up on this poor, considerate girl who's only looking after her own grandmother. She has nothing to do with anything. Simply made one tiny mistake, so why not leave it there?
Objection!
You'd like that, wouldn't you? Because the only person her testimony wouldn't hurt is you. What on earth do you mean, my boy? Seeing as you're now the de facto ex-prosecutor, you're going to need to explain yourself better than that. I'd be happy to. I'll even spell it out for you. Nurse Needler's role in this crime was very important because she's the real murderer. No. She's the real victim. No, of course not. She's a co-conspirator. Nurse Needler doctored the report in order to cover for her accomplice. Ow! So she's a co-conspirator, this innocent young thing? Do share your grounds for making such a wild accusation, dear boy. The murder couldn't have been committed by one person working on their own. Without at least 2 people, it would have been possible to doctor the report, maintain attendee numbers, move the body. If the auctioneer was the murderer, then the victim was one of the attendees. And the fact that a witness testified to there being 11 attendees even after the murder doesn't make sense. Hey, watch it! Y'all gonna call my good word into question now, too? That's not what I meant. In fact, it's quite the opposite. I'm taking you at your word, which means there must be a co-conspirator. I know it's hard, my boy, but sometimes you just have to accept that you're wrong!
Objection!
I wasn't wrong, I just hadn't considered the possibility of the killer having an accomplice. But as soon as we do, things start to fall into place. If the killer's accomplice returned to the auction room in place of the victim, there would indeed have been 11 attendees both before and after the murder. Very well, so that's your thinking, is it? Certainly an intriguing theory. But surely the imposter would have been spotted right away. I don't imagine that Nurse Needler looks strikingly different from the victim in build and stature. With the help of a mask, she could very well easily have replaced Miss Ringer without anybody noticing. Well, Nurse Needler, is that what happened? Did you take the victim's place at the auction? I would do something like that. Now tell us, the ringleader, who were they? I can't tell you, I just can't. It had hurt Grandma, too. Ow! But Grandma... Don't you worry about me, I can take it. You just tell me everything, child. But... Grandma! Her hair exploded. So I was right. She was an accomplice. She had a breakdown, so of course she was. Trying to complete the recipe book in Tears of the Kingdom, I'm short on a raw whole bird. Mind donating yourself to a good cause? I don't think I ever bothered with the recipe book in Tears of the Kingdom. There's too much. Too many. Miss Needler. Why? Yeah, she had the 3 eyes on her glasses. Well, Miss Needler, can you explain yourself? Yes. Huh? Oh, thank you, Grandma, but I'm alright now. I confess it. I changed places with Miss Ringer. So you admit that you were working with the ringleader? Yeah, I was helping them. I don't know how, but they found out Miss Ringer was going to attack them. The culprit was going to be attacked by the victim? They seemed pretty sure it was going to happen that night, so they made a counter plan. They wanted to strike first, and they wanted me to help them. I was told to go to the storeroom before the auction began and wait there. Now hold it on right there, Missy. I didn't see nothing, and my eyes don't lie. If you'd have been there from before the auction, I would have bumped right into you. I was there the whole way through, and you weren't there for a bit of it. But I'm not lying. More like she was going to expose that jerkweed. Well, that's easy for you to say, but you were lying about altering that report only a few minutes ago.
Objection!
Heh. Think we're all well aware of the number of potential hiding places in that storeroom. Are we? Where exactly are you trying to say our friend the nurse was hiding, Nurse Needler hid here while she was waiting in the storeroom. Now we get to present the box.
Take that!
She hid inside this clothing box. Oh, she did she? Huh. Well, it was there the whole time, even before I moseyed on in. But like I done told y'all, it had them chains around it. Wanted to hide in there myself, really, but it was locked up tight, so I had to go elsewhere. Imagine that's because Nurse Needler was already lying in there by the time you arrived. That's right, we didn't want anybody to open it or we would have really blown our cover. Box, yeah. So the ringleader told me to climb in and wait until it was time for my part of the plan. And then they wrapped the whole box up in chains. I think they took the elevator downstairs not long after. It was just before the auction was due to start. So as the auction was beginning, you and Miss Hart would have been the only people in the storeroom, correct? Yeah, I think so. The auction proceeded as it always did, until a certain customer came upstairs to complete her purchase. That was when the incident occurred. Miss Hart overheard the victim and the culprit exchanging words around then. You betcha, I was behind that statue there, shaking like a dang leaf the whole time. In the middle of their quarrel, Miss Ringer was killed by the auctioneer. I imagine that the auctioneer then carried Miss Ringer's body over to the clothes box, from which Nurse Needler emerged and swapped places with the victim. After placing Miss Ringer's body inside the box, Nurse Needler's role was now to pretend to be Miss Ringer. Two of them had returned to the room below as if nothing had happened. Does that about sum up what happened in the storeroom, Nurse Needler? Yes, in fact, that's exactly what happened. Hold up, so you just waltzed right back on in and nobody noticed? This is two completely different people we're talking about here. You're telling me not one of the other folks down at the auction room cottoned on? Why would they? The other auction goers had no reason to notice the difference when Nurse Needler entered because she'd stolen the victim's clothes, she was using the victim's name, she was imitating the victim. She wasn't imitating. It's gotta be the clothes. As we've seen, Miss Ringer and Nurse Needler are about the same build. What's more, the auction rules required attendees to wear their masks at all times. Nurse Needler were wearing the same clothes as Miss Ringer. Nobody would have been any the wiser. No, and they weren't. I borrowed Miss Ringer's clothes and ow! And left the poor child in her smalls? Have you no respect, girl? No, Grandma, I thought the same thing. Wouldn't have been nice to leave her like that. So when the ringleader wasn't looking, I put that raincoat on her. So that's how Miss Ringer came to be wearing it. Thus the auction was able to carry on as before. Guess the part where I caught the red raincoat on film came just after. Yeah, must be. Yeah, must be. Then it all makes sense. Right after that was when I went over and looked downstairs at the gap in the elevator. Spied me 11 happy little auction goers, then back I snuck up to my little hidey hole. Don't tell me we're hiding back there the entire time after that. Well, that is, not exactly. What is it? Did something happen? Maybe I ought to have mentioned this before, but I fell asleep for a few winks after that. Well, passed out, unconscious, you might say. What? What happened? Oh, nothing much. Kinda silly, really, but, there was a sudden loud noise, and it startled me. Just a little bit, you know? Or maybe more than a little, but I just witnessed a murder. Can't blame a girl for getting jumpy. Guess that got my heart shook and my head faint. Before I knew it, I was out like a light. By the time I came to, it was the next dang day, and there y'all were, clinking down that ladder. I see, so you were startled by a loud noise and fell unconscious. I suppose that means you don't know what happened after that. Not per se, but well, after the auction was over, all the masks were back on the rack. So I reckon the guests done finished up and filed out one by one like they were supposed to. Nurse Needler, once the auction had restarted, what exactly were you doing? Just pretending to be Miss Ringer and placing bids, just as the ringleader wanted. I had to win the clothes box as I had been instructed. Had a dead body inside, after all. Imagine if somebody else had won it. We'd have been in real trouble then. So you had no idea that the victim had vacated it in the meantime. Or, you had no idea the victim had vacated the box in the meantime. No, not until we came back up so I could pay for it. That's when we noticed it. The ringleader told me to go look for her right away. Except I found some other girl collapsed on the floor of the ladder instead. Kay. Yes, she must have fallen from up the roof and been knocked unconscious. Guess the victim must have left that hatch wide open, huh? That would explain it. Kay would have been so shocked by seeing Miss Ringer fall motionless right in front of her that she would have thought she would have seen the open hatch and fallen right through it. She wouldn't have seen the open hatch. That explains the noise that caused you to faint as well, Miss Hart. It was the sound of Kay crash landing onto the storeroom floor. Yeah, I suppose. Can't believe that something like that done knocked me out for so long, though. So in summary, by the time Miss Needler found Kay, you were already sound asleep behind the statue. I think we got a good grasp of what occurred up till this point. Nurse Needler, if you would like to continue. Sure, so I found Kay, and next I found Miss Ringer. I put them both in the clothes box. Couldn't risk any of the auction goers seeing them. That would have caused a real hullabaloo. Was that your idea, or the ringleader's? Theirs. But putting the raincoat on Miss Ringer was my own idea. So I tried to get rid of it before they found out what I'd done. Imagine they were none too pleased. None too pleased. like, showed up as a surprise piece of evidence in this case. You know, Zai, if you ever feel old, just know that I, as a 23-year-old woman, am growing bright white hairs on my chin. Oh, I'm growing gray hairs in my beard, and I'm only 37. Anyway, another typo there. Wrong version of 2. She was none to please. None to pleased. Didn't know until Nessie pointed them out. She fucking would point something like that out. And lastly, the ringleader and I put her in an auctioneer's outfit we prepared. Of course, which completed the deception and made everyone look like she thinks she was the auctioneer. All in all, the auction finished up without anybody noticing anything. And that was that. Now that we know the extent of your crimes, Nurse Needler, if you have anything further to share, I'd advise you to do so immediately. I wish I could tell you more, but I'm sorry. That's all I know. Oh, except for one other thing. It did seem a little strange, I guess. When I was borrowing Miss Ringer's clothes, I took everything I could, but I couldn't take her hair, obviously, so ow! You're danged right you couldn't take her hair. What kind of medical professional are you? That's where you draw the line, so taking her clothes was okay. Our hair was totally different. The style, the length, everything. Kinda panicked. But the ringleader thought of everything, including wigs. 2 of them, in fact. There was a straight one and a wavy one. They were both stashed in the clothes box. 2 wigs. But why? Right? I wondered that too. Thought maybe they were worried she might have changed up her hairstyle. Anyway, I took the straight one. That was the one that matched her hair on that day. Leaves a description of how she swapped places with Rosie Ringer. That's everything you know. There's nothing else you're forgetting? Oh, God. Getting a bit eepy. No? Huh? No, really, Grandma, that's everything. I take it that you really have no idea who the ringleader might be. Sorry, I only know that they were in charge of the auction. I didn't see them without their mask on. And they were pretty careful to keep their identity a secret from everyone. Ah, I can't get something concrete on them. What, well, Miles, are we about done? You've proven the nurse was part of the whole murder plot. But sadly for you, it doesn't change a whole lot. Because it does nothing to prove that Kay Faraday isn't the ringleader. And justice must prevail. We can't change the law, even for your sake. Is this it? Am I not going to be able to save Kay?
Objection!
Guess who's fucking back? Oh, gotta wake up here a little bit. Sorry. Grab a green tea. Oh, my chair is stuck. There we go. Back of my knee is itchy too. This is the longest I've done like an Ace Attorney segment without taking a break. I thought this segment would last 2.5 hours. Francisco, what are you doing here? As I told you before, Miles Edgeworth, where the case leads, I follow. Your dedication is an inspiration to us all. But don't go getting the wrong idea, little brother. I'm only here to deliver the truth regarding the suspect. I'm certainly not here to forgive you for bending the way of a prosecutor. I understand that. You should thank your former subordinate for what I'm about to share. In his desperation to help Kay Faraday, he gave me a valuable piece of information. Detective Gumshoe did that. Prepare yourself, Miles Edgeworth, for the final piece of the puzzle. Rosie Ringer's head wound was the first of the injuries she suffered, not the second. Oh, no. Well, somebody say something! Yes, well, there's no easy way to say this, Franziska, but we already proved that ourselves. You what? Yes, just a few minutes ago! Well, why didn't you say so sooner? You didn't exactly give us a chance. And I suppose you know about the murder weapon, too? No, not yet. Huh, good. Then listen up. Victim was struck on the head with a blunt object bearing a circular surface, and the wounds to the chest were actually inflicted post-mortem. A circular surface.
Objection!
And you're certain of that, I assume? Your sources are above board? 2 trusted medical professionals reached the same conclusion independently. Couldn't ask for more.
Objection!
That's certainly good to know.
Objection!
Though I think you're overstepping. Unfortunately, you're overstepping the bounds of what? I'm the prosecutor in charge of Interpol's investigation into the underground auction, and this murder occurred during that auction. It would be negligent of me not to pursue leads pertaining to related parties. That might be where the auctioneer's gavel is. Wait, where? My, you've really become quite the force to be reckoned with, haven't you, my dear? Then all parties are in agreement. The victim died from a blow to the head. Sadly, the murder weapon itself is yet to be identified. Well, once on Ringer's head, at least, yeah. Based on the shape, I might have an idea or two. But guys, I didn't turn up any other weapon during my investigation. And yet, one only needs to think about the setting in an auctioneer's tools, and the answer should be obvious. An object with a circular surface used in an auction. We're obviously talking about Judge Gavel's hammer, a judge's hammer, the auctioneer's hammer. What would an auctioneer have readily at hand? An auctioneer's hammer, of course. We never found one of those. If the auctioneer was indeed the killer, it does seem a likely candidate for the murder weapon. Without the evidence to support your theory, it remains nothing more than that. Oh, I have the evidence you need, right here. He grabs his crotch. This piece of evidence strongly suggests that the auctioneer's hammer was the murder weapon. It might be the blood. I think it might be the blood stain because it was dripping off the. No, that wouldn't make sense.
Take that!
Amy. Nope, I was wrong. What are you talking about, Miles Edgeworth? Put that thing away before I stick my whip on you. Missing horn in the cow doll? No. I fucked up anyway. No, it can't end like this. And yet, there's nothing more I can do. Never saw the game over in this, actually. And with that, the truth receded into the darkness. Oh, the same as the last game. Okay, anyway, retry. Not before. Then what was that just now? If the hammer really is the murder weapon, did anything change from before it was used? Need to look over the evidence again and focus on that. Mr. Edgeworth, can you really show us evidence that the auctioneer's hammer was the murder weapon? Of course I can. The left horn is missing. Can't help but wonder where it went. Although even if we were to find it, it might not be easy to fix up either. Hey, full health. You haven't seen that in a few hours. Yep. Just about the only circular thing I can think of that's handheld. Missing horn of the cow. No, that's something else entirely. Possibly places the time of death around 11 p.m. Cause death appears of a blunt force trauma from an object with a circular striking surface. Puncture wounds on the chest were inflicted post-mortem. Other remarks: prominent burn mark on the back of the victim's right hand. Oh, the hammer can no longer be heard.
Take that!
So they didn't have it anymore. Miss Hart told us something very important about the auction after the murder occurred. She said that the very prominent sound of the auctioneer's hammer could no longer be heard. Now, why would that be? I'll tell you why. Because it had just been used in a murder and was covered in the victim's blood. It would need to be disposed of. Isn't that right, Chairman Winner? I'll have our people look into this right away. Oh, you really are like a dog with a bone, aren't you, dear boy? If you can't dedicate yourself to a cause when you're young, when can you, hmm? Seems very confident we'll never find it. Very well, search for the murder weapon will be conducted. In the meantime, this court is in recess. Wow, did I really... Yeah, wow. I really got a game over on the last choice before the cutoff. Macaw, yeah. Bear with me 1 second here. I think I might have to cut this short, unfortunately. I don't think we got enough time, because I think there's only one segment left, and I think it's gonna be fairly long. Let me see. If I remember this correctly. Shush. Oh, actually. Oh, no, actually. From what I could see from this playthrough, it is about another hour. It's like 40 minutes or so. While I could go to like... while I could go to like 4:30 again, that still wouldn't get me to the end, even if I rushed. So I think we're gonna have to cut it at just one segment tonight. Again, I didn't realize this segment was gonna be almost over 2.5 hours long, and I started late again, as I have been. So I think I'm gonna cut it here. We will finish this last segment of this tomorrow, and I'll move on to case 5 immediately afterwards. Tomorrow I will not be late. I will absolutely be here early tomorrow. I'm going to make it a point that I'm going to be here like at least an hour before my normal start time. Shush, everyone. We're out of here. Where am I? Did PNG Tuber Plus freeze again? Yep. It froze in the middle of me, putting it away. Cool. Alright, whatever. I'm gone then. Well, this was a fun night. A lot of raids, a lot of chatters, a lot of friends hanging out. Always love that. 24-hour recess. No, less than that. It will be less than 24 hours. But yeah, it's 3:50. I'm going to stop here, since going any further would take another, like, an hour. Cool. Something along there. Yep. But really, thank you all for coming, as always. I appreciate it. You know I always do. Love you all. Kissy kissies all around. Maybe, if you want that. Otherwise, just hugs. If you want to watch more streams, stick around. I'm going to raid... Corridor Zero. I haven't raided them in... I don't remember if I've ever raided them. I'm gonna give them some love. They're playing Starcom, Unknown Space, Starcorn. Of course, thank you for the stream, Big Zai. Thank you. All right, everyone. Stick around. Say hi to Corridor Zero for me. Take care, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow night with more. Good night.